I'm going to follow up from Kelly's very helpful remarks. There's, well, when I was a child, not a child, but what's the best editor? Is it Emacs or Vim? That was the sort of question that was going around. And in the tech community, there's what's the best IDE for using tech? And there are all sorts of different views, and some people are developing new IDEs. And it is an important question. I'm going to put a slightly heretical answer. The best IDE for using tech is the one you use for everything else. So if you use Emacs for everything, then Emacs is your IDE for using tech. If you use RStudio for everything else, then RStudio is your IDE for using tech. And if you use VS Code, then VS Code is your IDE. And VS Code is very popular for a number of reasons in the blind programming community. And there is a tech add-on for VS Code. So if we sort of presented a bundle for writing a term paper in statistics, and the bundle consisted of tech plus RStudio plus various helpful bits and pieces, that would probably work. And it might even exist already. Certainly the cut down tech exists by virtue of tiny tech. And for the people that are more programmers than statisticians, they may prefer to use VS Code. So we've got to get away, I think, it would help to get away from the idea that we spend our time writing tech documents. And using that as the way of judging things. People are using their documents for other purposes. So Overleaf, from the IDE point of view, they said, well, what's the piece of software that everybody uses to do work? Well, it's the web browser. So we use the web browser as the IDE, and within that, they built their IDE. It's a bit like saying, well, you can't come in your own car. You have to use the special car for this special purpose. A lot of people want general purpose tools because they do a wide range of different things. The idea that to write a tech document, you need a special IDE that you haven't used before is just making things harder. And maybe 5 years later, it's worth learning, or a year later, it's worth learning that special IDE. But for people who are making their mind up what to do, I've heard that tech's really good, but it's difficult to use. I think that must be an attitude a number of people have. Well, if you can reduce that initial difficulty and give some confidence that it's not an unremitting line of suffering and horror that takes them away from what they're trying to do, then that will help. I think short manuals, which has basically been said already, and simplify are very good, and improved error recovery and reporting. That would make a really big difference. And something I'd very much like to see is a tech checking tool that will catch many errors before they even get to tech. So it reads the document, it says, well, hang on, there's a problem here that you should fix because you've got a mismatch brace. You shouldn't have to typeset a document to discover a mismatch brace. Nor, for that matter, should you have to typeset a document to discover a misspelled control sequence.
And certainly Emacs can match the braces for you.
Up to a point.
Yeah.
I don't know how much LaTeX does actually. Maybe it hides all this from you.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with LaTeX is what I call it, for a long time. I haven't looked at it for a long time. And it seems to have, I came across the website recently, and it seems to be quite a well done website, and it seems to be a professionally run project. And there seems to be this schism or gap between LaTeX and the, so to speak, mainstream tech community. If that's the case, I think it's a little bit sad. Certainly, the intentions of LaTeX are very good.